how's it going, guys? Welcome to our heads. So earlier this month, or I guess at the start of the month, um, there was a noise that was heard across the state. You could say a couple of states probably heard that noise.
The
Um,
whole DMV area, yeah.
well, to be honest with you, we didn't hear it on our side, but apparently, just in that strict area, a sonic boom happened across the DMV area. From my knowledge, it intercepted a crashing plane or was trying to.
So I guess what happened around 3 o'clock, everybody heard a loud boom.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really loud, depending where you were. Some people thought it was slamming doors. Some people thought it was car crashing. Some people thought something fell over in their house. So it depended on where you were and how far away you were from the actual source. But everybody heard it. So then people started coming out into the streets and was like, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that?" Talking to their neighbors and stuff. Um, I was in the movie theater when it happened, but the whole movie screen shook, and I was like, "Why is the screen shaking?" So I just thought it was a really loud movie in the next theater or whatever. Then when I came out after the movie, it was all over the news, radio,
Mm-hmm.
talking about it. So there were two separate events that ended up being the same event. So the first event was the sonic boom, which was caused by some fighter jets from a local airbase, and when they went sonic or whatever. The second event was a small passenger plane that
Mm-hmm.
was in airspace. What do you call it? Restricted airspace, uh,
in
and was not
DC.
responding to radio, calls or whatever.
Warnings,
So
yeah.
yeah. So those two events ended up being the same because they scrambled the jets to go find out what was going on with this. Was it a Cessna or a small passenger
Cessna.
plane?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, that ended up crashing in some remote part of Virginia that I've never heard of. Um, so that's what the two events were. That was actually one event. So you didn't hear it, Paulo. Did anybody in Fredericksburg that you know of hear it?
No, so I'm connected in several, apps that would kind of tip
Next
me
door
off.
neighbors or whatever,
Nextdoor, Ring, like the
the
Blink
neighborhood app.
community. And the only place I got the notification from is from the Ring community in Woodbridge.
Uh-huh.
So when I started getting like 50 notifications in Prince William County, you know, I had no idea. I thought it was a gang war.
A gang
I was
war.
like,
You thought
yeah,
you were
because
shooting
they're like
RPGs.
gunshots, fireworks.
Oh,
Like
so different thing. Yes, somebody wrote it. Was there
people's
an earthquake?
imaginations were going wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh no, something's going down in Prince William County. Then later on, I saw the articles about a plane, and it was kind of wild, and I tried to follow through with the news. As far as I know, everyone was dead in the
Yes, so it
crash.
was a really wealthy woman on the plane. Her kid, her child, like a 3-year-old, the
2-year-old girl.
kid's nanny, and then the pilot. Uh,
Mhm.
and they're assuming they all died from hypoxia, which is, what is it, Keith? Can you explain hypoxia?
So hypoxia is when the plane becomes depressurized and there's a lack of oxygen in the
Oh.
plane, and so you slowly, get sleepy and basically pass out. So it's a low oxygen situation. So they're believing that might be the cause of why the pilot and probably maybe the other three on the plane had passed out, was just due to lack of oxygen.
I
So
wonder if they saw it coming, because I've always wondered like if that's like a silent killer or
it
It's
is.
it's a silent. It's not a silent killer. More, it's just like it puts you to sleep because a low oxygen situation will just make you tired and you'll just go to sleep. You
Yeah,
it's
won't.
so it
not.
depends. Yeah, because usually when the cabin's depressurized, isn't there like wind in the cabin?
Doesn't have to be. No, it's just maybe. So there's pumps that actually keep the cabin pressurized. If that pump fails, or if there's a small leak, it doesn't
Oh yeah,
just
yeah.
like it doesn't always just explode out. But if there's
Yeah, because like last week there was that person that opened the plane, the door
like the
on the
Korea,
plane in Korea plane. Yeah,
right?
and they were
So they
sitting up
opened
there
the
like
I remember that.
so
I
they
remember.
opened the door at a
lower altitude.
lower altitude where the cabin didn't require pressurization. So if they were, they wouldn't have been, it should have been, wouldn't have been able to open the door. If it
Hmm.
was in a higher altitude, the cabin was so pressurized, you wouldn't really be able to open that door and have like the pressure. So they were actually in a lower, maybe in a land, getting prepared to land, I think it was. So they were already at a lower altitude.
Yeah, and the person tried to jump out. I would have let him jump. So
Well,
that would have been the end
it's
of that
sad.
investigation.
But
That's sad. I hope I hope that whoever was affected, or like those are the only um uh who are affected in the blast zone. It's kind of unfortunate that all of them died. Um, but like
yeah,
I don't think there was a happy ending.
Yeah, I took it as fortunate that they were unconscious when the
they weren't.
plane
Yeah,
crashed.
I mean,
Hmm.
if you're not the pilot and you're just watching yourself go down, I mean, if they like, I don't think anybody in that situation could have been like the other time that pilot, was it last year or plane, or I forget what year it was. I don't know when it was actually. Off of Florida, where the pilot had passed out, and there was a guy who like radioed in and said, our pilot's like passed, like he was unconscious, and I don't know how to fly a plane." But he was able to. There was someone who knew that plane in particular and was able to get on the radio and actually kind of like talk him through it, and actually they was able to land on in the airport pretty
That's
safely.
crazy.
That
Yeah.
is pretty crazy. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
imagine
that's
that
wild.
situation as well. It's like your pilot passes out, and it's like, oh my god, and like I have no idea how to fly a plane, but I got to get on these controls and do something.
Yeah, so
It's like
that plane left from Nashville, was going somewhere, right?
It
And
left
then it
somewhat.
doubled
It left
back and went back. Yeah.
right. It left in Tennessee. I think a regional airport in Tennessee, and was supposed to land in Long Island, and it got really close or nearby, and then just all of a sudden made a U-turn and started making coming back towards DC. And yeah, that and of course there was no response to that plane, and so yeah, some F-16. I think I read it was maybe like a 6 F-16s, but 2 of them from Andrews were deployed to intercept it, and yeah, they were authorized, of course, to kick it up a
So
notch.
my conspiracy theory is that sonic boom that everyone heard was not a sonic boom. It was
uh,
the F-16s blowing that airplane out of the sky before it went
uh,
somewhere that it wasn't supposed to go, or crashed somewhere it wasn't. That would have been more deadly. So they
I,
had to make a executive decision and blow it out of the sky over
well, to
a remote area.
Well, to break that theory, though, is that it's the distance that everybody heard it from Annapolis, DC to like Woodbridge. Like you're not going to hear an
It
explosion of
depends
that.
on the cloud cover. It depends on the curvature of the Earth. It depends
oh
on
my
the
god.
weather,
Yeah. Well, yeah, the temperature, like
the
basically like
temperature,
that's
the
that's how
oxygen.
sound. Yes, how sound travels.
Depending on
Like depends
how
on
the
the.
stars line that
Well,
day, and if the moon was
there
in
are
eclipse.
there are studies that sound can travel really far, depending on those atmospheric variances or whatever. Like there
Yes.
was a while ago, people were hearing things that sounded like trumpets coming from the sky or the clouds or whatever, and they were never able to figure out what it was. But the theory was that it was like some construction vehicles or whatever, and because of the way there was like a dome of clouds that caused the sound to you know
It,
curve in or whatever
so yeah, I mean
long distance.
you can hear sounds like from miles away,
Mm-hmm.
and um, but I don't think it's that far.
Nah, man,
Yeah, but I
they
mean,
shot it
with
with a
the way
supersonic
it
missile.
was, I mean, I think it
What if
was
the
like
missile made the sonic boom? They shot it with a supersonic Scud missile.
I don't know how fast missiles can go, but I think they also need an assistance from the jet, maybe. But I mean, they can
Aren't
go
there
fast. They definitely can go fast.
supersonic missiles?
Then I guess there probably are.
Yeah, there's got to be.
Like ICBMs.
Yeah, man.
Like
So they
I
just
wouldn't
blew it out of
know.
the sky.
I have no
I
idea,
wouldn't.
but I
That's my
Yeah.
theory.
I did hear it, and it did sound like somebody had, like, me and my wife looked at each other and were like, "What?" And I was like, maybe I was like, it sounds like somebody like slammed the door really hard up above us. But then
I could see Keith like stand up immediately, trying to block his collection in the back. Oh no!
Holding up his figurines
well,
on one hand and anime other.
yeah, well,
His
it sounded
mom
like it came
with
from
his
a
foot.
specific direction, not from over here. But yeah, like I did think, like, I was like, that would have been a loud crash for them to come down, not a boom. But I did think like maybe something up above us had fallen off. So, but then our neighbor came down, and she was an older lady, and she was wondering, she was like, if something came down from us. And I was like, nothing happened. We're
Yeah, I'm
fine
chopping down your
here.
house, lady.
Yeah. So yeah, we thought it was something up there. So I actually went up. She was by herself. Her family, and she's an older lady. Her family was out, so
And
I
to make
actually went
sure she
upstairs.
didn't fall and couldn't get up.
I was like, so after I scanned the place for her to make sure nothing like fell, I did think about that. Like, if she's by herself, like, what would happen? Like, if she did hurt herself, nobody would know. I would like, but that didn't
Well,
come to my mind. But
like a good neighbor, you'd be there and you'd do a health check. You know, hold
if
on, I
I,
haven't seen that lady in a month. Let's
oh
see how
well,
she's doing.
no, her
You know,
family's. I mean, they come back. They're
Skeleton.
here daily. She was just happened to be by herself just on that day, and that time it happened. So she was just concerned that something may have happened because we didn't know. But then I went on just happened to go on Facebook, and there was other people questioning like what it was. I was like, okay, so wasn't the only one that heard this noise. So somewhere else in Woodbridge, and some person posted a commented, maybe it was a plane, maybe a plane crash or explosion, or then like other people were like posting it's like sonic booms. And then yeah, like Otis said, it came to be like those two, like a plane did crash, but it and the sonic boom of like F-16s, it's going supersonic.
All right, Paulo,
well,
wrap us up.
what do you guys think? I had a, I had
Missile.
I had never mind. What do you guys think? What it was? You know, Otis seems to think it's a missile. I hope it is what it is. What everyone says in the articles. But otherwise, we'll see you guys on our next drop.
Later.